What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters? I'm One Eye Bright, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about my review and recap of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 1. It's crazy to say Season 6 of this show. Where has the time gone? But Fear the Walking Dead is back. I'm super excited to talk about it. I'll give you my review and recap of Season 6, Episode 1, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what was pretty far-fetched. But overall, the episode was entertaining. It was a little over the top in certain aspects, but it is a fictional zombie show. And I'll make this quick, guys. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you like what we do here, hitting the subscribe button really helps the channel out. Also, liking the video, liking the channel, just being a part of it to help support it in one way or another. You don't have to donate, but if you can, even the smallest donation helps. And look, I know I'm a realist. I know not everybody's going to donate, but if you want this channel to continue on and on and on, there's a couple of different ways to support it. And if you're interested in my book series, Fight For Us, available now on Amazon and paperback and digital format on Kindle, it's a good way to help support the channel. Now let's get to it, guys. Now it starts with this person writing with spray paint on the side of something that we find out at the very end of the episode is a submarine in Galveston, Texas. But I thought it was super funny how that person killed this walker with a can of spray paint. He was like, dink, dink, dink. It was pretty hilarious. But this episode was so crazy and over the top. Headhunter came and went. We met him this episode, and he's gone in the same episode, which we thought, and I kind of hoped he would be a big part of the season, at least the first half, but he was probably the most interesting character we've had on this show, besides the main cast, of course, for a super long time. But the interesting character, you know, they love to kill off, and they'll keep certain characters on for far too long. It was pretty cool that we saw Morgan, we met Isaac, we met the headhunter, Ginny was barely on it, we met Walter, who has the submarine key, and it was crazy to think that this guy is going around, and he's a bounty hunter, a headhunter, literally. And it was crazy that Walter came right to him, the headhunter, which I didn't really get his name. I think they said it once in the episode, but it was super fast. Either way, he was gone, and I guess it doesn't matter what his name is, even though headhunter is pretty cool. And it's interesting that Walter and the headhunter kind of shared some beans, and then Walter was gone. And then, boop, to Morgan, who is in a limousine. And it's 5 to 6 weeks later after the events with Ginny and Morgan. And Ginny is pretty terrible at her job, and her rangers are pretty terrible at their job if they couldn't find Morgan. We don't know who saved Morgan, but we know somebody, at least one person, saved his life. Morgan's walking around, and he's really weak. He's dying, basically. He's got organ failure, and I guess the necrotic tissue and the smell was what the immunity was. We thought radiation, we thought something may have changed Morgan, that he was immune to walkers, but noise attracted them to him anyway. But Morgan's walking and walking. He lives in a water tower. He's able to climb a water tower with one arm. You know, it's interesting because in a fictional zombie apocalypse show, and really movies and shows, he would still be affected by the loss of blood. His body is trying to repair himself, which it's not really working, necrotic tissue. He'd be tired, weak, exhausted, really all the time, but yet he's walking around and he trips and falls, and it was just all over the place. He had moments of he could take out 1,000,000 walkers, and there was other times where he would fall and he can't get up. So which is it? Was he tired? Was he weak? Is he superhuman? I guess the plot armor was added when he was sleeping and he was okay, but Morgan's gonna live. We all knew that. It was just crazy over the top and super far-fetched in so many things that it's almost laughable. Even though the episode was entertaining and exciting, it was like, what is going on here? And how many times were you like, yeah, right, that is so crazy. But I did love the callbacks to Morgan, to the cop car, to Rick, to season 3 with the crib, and it was kind of cool to see. And I love callbacks and Easter eggs to other shows of the Walking Dead universe, and I love how it all connects. And to be honest, we need more of that in between the shows. But Morgan is here with an empty gun, and the gun comes back to help save him when we meet Isaac. So we met Isaac, Isaac's wife, and the headhunter, who, you know, Isaac's wife lived, but Morgan lived, and we met Ginny, and, you know, we knew Ginny was there, but, you know, we met Headhunter and Isaac, and they're both gone. So it's like, boop, we met them, and they're gone. Morgan is an interesting character, and I do like Morgan a lot, but he has so much plot armor, and it's ridiculous, that we should never fear that he's going to die, which is sad because this is the Walking Dead universe where everybody can die, but except for Morgan, I guess, right? I don't die. And Morgan's gone, so what does he go by now? Morgan Jones? I know it was just symbolic that the past is gone, he's a new man, you know, he's not really caught by that, But as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow, this is a callback to season 3 with Michonne and Carl when Morgan came back around in the town, and it just took me back to that. Did anybody else think that? That's what I got out of it. I don't know if they were going that specifically, but it was pretty interesting. The walkers came around and they would get up to Morgan and be right up on him and then be like, nah, I'm not gonna bite him. Nah, that's okay. Unless Morgan made noise, right? Isaac came and saved the day with his little knife. Look how small that knife is. How could it actually go into a walker's brain? But again, this is the Walking Dead universe, and Fear the Walking Dead has some crazy stuff. Now, Morgan talking to Isaac was nice. It was interesting. It was a new character, and I liked Isaac. But again, we like characters, and they're gone. And we hate characters, and they stay on the show far too long. Headhunter, to me, sounded just like Idris Elba. Did anyone else hear that? But either way, Headhunter and Rufus, they found Morgan so quick. They were like, yep, there. Have you seen this baby? It's pretty funny. Who drew this? But again, it was one episode, and I think that's what the season's going to be, at least the first half. They're supposed to be movies, and they're supposed to be focused on certain characters, like 1 or 2 characters in every episode. So this was the Morgan episode, I guess, and I'm not sure when we're going to see him again. But overall, the episode was a good start to the season. Again, it's far-fetched, and it's over the top with craziness, and Morgan's fighting Headhunter with a bad arm, and his bow staff and the axe. I mean, the axe is pretty cool. It's a pretty awesome weapon. I mean, it's taken off walkers' heads easily, and the way Morgan swung that thing around, to me, it's a 2-handed weapon, but the way they're using it, they're just like swinging it around with ease, so it's pretty cool. And overall, I guess the coolest thing out of it was Headhunter. He was one of the cooler people that they added to the show, and they love to do that. They bring in characters for half a season or a season, and then they're gone. And it's like, what? I kind of like that. I like the story of this character, and I love we can get a Tales of the Walking Dead story of him. I'm not sure if we will or not, but that'd be pretty cool to see where he's been up to this point. He came and went, but the axe was pretty cool. And Morgan has his gun pointed at this guy, and he's got 2 shots. And he shoots him in the arm. Isaac and Morgan get in the truck, and they roll out. And Isaac takes Morgan to the dam where he's held up. And it's interesting because we didn't know who this person was, but it's Isaac just looking on. And overall, this thing was another crazy aspect of the episode. Morgan's struggling to walk, and he's, getting close to the walkers, and people are like, there's going to be, something in the bag, and there's going to be something that's attracting the walkers away from Morgan. But I guess it's the necrotic tissue that, Morgan doesn't really have anymore because Isaac patched him up, took the bullet out, and now Morgan won't have an immunity towards walkers, and his eyes look fine. But 5 to 6 weeks with a bullet in his chest, loss of blood. I guess he got antibiotics and someone was enough to save him, but it just seems too much. So Morgan's struggling to walk. And look at all these walkers. There's so many walkers. Morgan falls down, and he gets up, and he's like, I'm right here. And all the walkers turn around and come towards Morgan. It's like all the walkers either go this way or that way. Like they were walking away from him, and then they turned around. And Isaac takes out a bunch of walkers, and Morgan is stabbing, slashing, stabbing. How many walkers did he take out? I don't know, 20? It was so many. And Morgan's not of like the best health. He's not super strong. He's weak. He's basically dying, and yet he has the ability to take all the walkers out. And any logical person would be like, that doesn't make sense. What? Come on, right? Then we have the epic fight scene with Headhunter and Morgan. And Morgan blocks the axe with one hand, and his bow staff was like, oh man, this is crazy. The bow staff breaks, Morgan stabs him, he picks up the axe, swings it down, well boom, takes out the Headhunter. Headhunter's gone. Ginny comes around at the end of the episode, which, they build up this little barricade. I guess Morgan did. And there's also like Isaac. How did Isaac's wife put all those rocks and bury Isaac after like hours of, delivering a baby? But either way, Ginny comes in, and we barely saw her, which was good. Less the better sometimes with this character. Even though I do like Colby Minifie, the actress is good, but the character is just too over the top. And, they find the Morgan Jones box. What's in the box? What's in the box? I know somebody had to say that. But Ginny comes over to the box, expecting to see Morgan Jones. It's the Headhunter. She starts laughing, and then she gets concerned, gets on the radio, and says, can you hear me? If you can hear me, it doesn't matter if you're alive. It don't matter, because people are going to think you're alive. I could just tell them you're not, so it doesn't matter. But again, Ginny has been terrible. Also, her Rangers just went past the limo. They didn't even check it that Morgan was in. Pretty weak management, pretty weak at doing things. But we have to have the showdown with Ginny and Morgan, and we know it's all coming to that. Ginny's pissed. Morgan's like, I don't go by Morgan anymore. My eyes are good. I'm wearing the headhunter hat and jacket, I think. Plus, what's happening to Rufus? We don't know. He's got a horse, and they roll out. And then it's this walker that we saw at the beginning with the one shoe, steps on a cockroach or something, and it's coming towards the guy that turns out to be two guys at what we find out is a submarine. And he writes, for some reason, the end is the beginning. Not sure what that means. It's the first episode of season 6, so we'll have to wait and find out. And we don't know what the key that Morgan has now opens up inside the submarine. Is it weapons? Is it rations? Is it food? Is it nuclear weapons? We're not sure, but the submarine is on land in Galveston, Texas. So I guess our group's going to get there in the first half of season 8, or maybe the second half. We'll have to see how it goes down, but I guess we'll have to find out. But overall, the episode was interesting. It was entertaining. It was laughable at moments, just because it's so over the top. I just feel like this show has jumped the shark. Anybody else think that way? And I know a lot of people say I'm being hard on the show, and if you don't like the show, why are you talking about it? I do like the show. It's entertaining, it's exciting, and I have big hopes, and I've always had big hopes for this show. I'm just not sure if it's delivered. But thank you guys, stay safe, and tell them, Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys.